Okay, thanks, Brian. Welcome to our weekly teleconference with Coach O'Brien, and we'll start first with some comments from Coach.
So just an update on the injury situation. Ryan Kaiser, he came out of it all right, and he's full go, ready to go. Ben Klein, he'll be ready to go for Saturday. Basically, as you look down the list here of bumps and bruises, that's basically what it is. Christian Hackenberg is fine, and he practiced yesterday. He'll be ready to go. Continuing down the list here, like I said, looks like we came out of it okay, and the normal bumps and bruises, but everybody's ready to go for Saturday.
Okay, we'll start questions with Rich Garcella and Rainey. Rich, go ahead.
So, does Christian have to wear a protective device, and is he participating fully in practices?
Yeah, he participated fully, and no, he won't wear a protective, other than obviously shoulder pads, but he won't wear a protective device. He's good to go, Rich, as we sit here today.
Bob Flounders in Harrisburg.
Yeah, Bill, I wanted to ask, you got asked about Christian a lot. I wanted to ask you about the development of Tyler Ferguson this year. You got to play in the Ohio State game. Can you kind of evaluate him, and also your walk-on quarterbacks? I think you have 3, Whipple, Crook, and Seymour. How have they been? How have they developed this year, and what have you seen of that? Sure.
Tyler has definitely improved. He's a very smart guy, smart football player. He's improved his mechanics throwing the ball. He's a very capable quarterback, and I thought when he went in the game on Saturday night, he did some decent things. Had one poor throw, but overall he did threw a nice slant pass to Allen, and obviously the look pass to Allen was a good play by him seeing that. So he's come a long way, and a great guy to coach, fun guy to be around, competitive guy. He gets a lot of reps in practice, and I believe he really takes advantage of those. We have 3 run-on quarterbacks. DJ Crook from Massachusetts has definitely improved. Great guy, good playing strength. Really improved his throwing. He's one of those guys that gets a lot of reps in that Monday night developmental scrimmage, so he does a good job of that. Jack Seymour from Indianapolis is another guy that's improved a lot. I thought last night in our developmental scrimmage he did a nice job, had a couple good throws to Chris Geis, who's a run-on receiver for us. So that looked good. And then Austin Whipple came into the season with he had a shoulder operation, so he hasn't been able to throw as much as he would like to, but I think he's done a lot of other things, and he's a very bright guy. He's a guy that wants to be a coach. His dad's a coach, so those guys have done a really good job for us.
Derek Lavarse in Wilkes-Barre.
Bill Feldman said he feels he's really matured as a player and person from the end of last season. What kind of improvements have you seen from him in terms of his habits or his preparation from last year?
He's a much improved player. He really is. He's more patient in the running game. I think he understands how to watch film better. I think he's a better teammate. I think he's a smarter player. He's a very smart player. It's in our system. One of the hardest things to learn for a running back are the protections, and he's able to learn those and does a good job with it. And so he's right now he's our starting running back, and he's done a nice job.
When you say he's a better teammate, is there a specific example that you can give that?
No, I just think what I mean by that is he accepts his role from week to week, and he understands it, and he takes advantage of it. And he's a great teammate as far as a friend and all that. I don't mean to say that. I mean his role on the team. He understands it better, and I think that's part of being a good teammate too. And he does a really good job with that.
Mark Wogenrich in Allentown.
Bill, after the Michigan game, John Butler said that the defense was learning through fire. After 7 weeks now, are you seeing any benefits to that, of the defense learning through fire, so to speak?
Learning through fire. I think, obviously Saturday night was not the defense's best night. Let's call it like it is. But I do think that there has been some improvement. I think there's been some individual players that are playing better, and I think, I think at the end of the day, it comes down to a combination of coaching and playing. And so I think that, if we can put them in better positions to make plays, that'll help. And I think, guys got to go out there and make plays. So we have guys that over on that side of the ball that love to practice, that came out last night and had a good practice and made a lot of plays on defense, and that needs to carry over to the game. And then we've got to continue to evaluate what we're doing and try to coach them better. I think that's what it comes down to also. So, I think that there's been some improvement. Obviously, Saturday night you wouldn't put that in the category of improvement.
Frank Bodani, York.
Hi, Bill. I wonder if you could just explain briefly the slight change in Donovan Smith's status on the depth chart and maybe talk a little bit about how he has played recently.
Sure. I don't want to get into the specifics of how I think he's played, but what I do think is you have 3 tackles there that have all done a decent job. So you have Adam Gress, Gary Gilliam, and Donovan that have had their bright spots and had their not so bright spots. So we've made that a very competitive situation this week, and that's why you see the overs there. So it could be Gress and Gilliam starting at tackle on Saturday. It could be Gress and Donovan. It could be Gilliam and Donovan. It could be a combination, but all 3 of those guys will play on Saturday.
Joe Giuliano, Philadelphia.
Yeah, hi, Bill. All season you mentioned how resilient your kids have been. Did you see that when you met with them again on Monday, and did you feel like you needed to say anything to kind of get their heads up after Saturday?
We had a team meeting at 2:45 yesterday, and I knew when I opened those doors, Joe, that every one of them would be sitting there ready to go. And that's the type of kids we have. Obviously, like I've said before, Saturday night was not a great night, but it's one game, and it's important to learn from it, learn from the experience. I talked to the kids yesterday about a couple things. I talked to them about, experiences. You go through life and you have some good experiences. They've experienced the highs of the high, with the Michigan 4 overtime win, and then they've experienced a low moment with getting blown out by Ohio State. So that's kind of what life's about. And if that's the worst thing that ever happens to you in your life, I think your life will be okay. And so I think that's what it's about, and these kids know that and they understand that, and then I talked to them about the foundation of our program. The foundation of our program is built on good kids, mentally tough kids, hard work ethic, the ability to compete and practice every single day and get better and try to improve, be a good teammate. The philosophy, the foundation of our program is to always look for better ways to coach them, do a better job of coaching them. And so we wake up on Sunday, and whether it's a win or a loss, and rely on the foundation of our program.
Mike Gross in Lancaster.
Hi, Bill. On Saturday night, you said that you would look at the film and kind of tell us on Tuesday what you saw. So, looking at the film, what stuck out? Did anything surprise you? What sort of struck you in looking at the film?
Sure, a lot of things. Nothing surprised me. I don't, like I think I said before, I don't really get surprised too much, but I saw, let's start offensively. I saw some things that I thought we could build on. I really did. I thought the first drive of the game was a decent drive. It was a methodical drive. So what I learned from that was, I think as we go here, I learned a lot about coaching when I watched the film. I learned about the fact that maybe we need to try to create some more chunk plays and things like that, try to get the ball down the field a little bit more instead of having 15, 16 play drives, So that was one thing. But I think our kids played hard on offense, and I thought sometimes we ran the ball pretty well. I thought Billy and Akil got in there and ran the ball well too. So, I saw some things to build on. I think we need to pass protect better. I think 3-step drop, we shouldn't be getting hit on a 3-step drop, and things like that have to improve. Defensively, I looked at it and I said, you know what? I think what we have to do is we got to make sure that we coach these guys and we simplify things so that these guys can go out and play. We got a lot of good players on both sides of the ball, and I think we just need to let them go play. And that's what I talked to the staff about on Sunday, and just let them go play. I think there were some good things defensively. I thought Daquan Jones did some really good things in the game. I thought Glenn Carson played his heart out in the game, and then there were other things, a little soft in coverage. We need to be more aggressive in coverage. Like, don't be afraid to go make a mistake. Go take your shot. That's what I thought was big on that. And then special teams. I think we got a lot of young guys on special teams. We got a lot of young guys on the trip. I think there were 28 first-year players or 29, something like that, first or second-year players. A lot of young guys on the trip. So I thought special teams was was okay at times. You know, there were some decent things. Our kickoff return needs to get better. Guys need to win their one-on-one battles better and things like that. But overall, I thought Butters punted the ball pretty well, and I thought Sam Ficken kicked the ball pretty well. So when he had 3 kickoffs. So, so I thought there was some good, obviously more bad than good in a game like that, but some things to build on.
Donnie Collins in Scranton.
Hey, Bill. Obviously, you want to have Zach Sinek right going forward, but when a guy has some trouble holding on to the football, it's going to become more of a mental thing than a physical issue with how he's protecting the ball. And what do you do in practice to help a kid get over some tough times like that with turnovers?
Well, I have a lot of confidence in Zach Swinark. I have confidence in Lynch. I have confidence in Belton. I mean, we got 3 guys that are pretty good, so it's a very competitive deal. So, if there's one guy that's making some mistakes, then, obviously the other 2 guys are going to play more. And, right now, Zach's got a little bit of a fumble issue. I do think it's a little bit mental. I talked to him for a long time yesterday. These kids they're unbelievable kids. They're very hard on themselves, and I don't think he should be that hard on himself. I think it's just a matter of, let's figure out, what you're doing wrong. I think there's some technical things we can help him with coaching-wise, and I think he'll improve. But again, the number one job of a ball carrier is to take care of the ball security. So we've got to help him improve, but he's got to help himself a little bit there too, and I know he'll try to do that this week.
Dan Gelston, Associated Press.
Not connected.
Okay, Chris Adamski in Pittsburgh.
Hey, Bill, maybe a little bit of a later question here. Anytime it seems like you're asked to talk about, we're asked about, Mike Hall or Mel Diefenbach, Adam Gress, Jesse Delabelli, the list goes on. You always seem to mention the Pittsburgh guy, the tough guy. Is that something that's almost like a cliche that you just want to say something nice, or is that something you really found? Did you find that when you came to be the coach here, or did you always know you have a Pittsburgh past connection somewhere that you've developed that reputation in Pittsburgh, or what?
That's an interesting question. And again, I don't want to imply that Philadelphia guys aren't. I think Pennsylvania kids are tough. Let's say that. But no, just in my experience of coaching in the National Football League with New England, just the Pittsburgh Steelers were always a very tough football team that we played. Obviously, growing up. Pittsburgh, I followed the Steelers. When I was growing up, the Patriots weren't very good, and Pittsburgh Steelers were unbelievable in the 70s. And so, the steel town and the toughness of that town. And then coming here and having the honor of being the head football coach at Penn State and State College being so close to Pittsburgh, I just really like that city. And I like the guys on our team that come from that city. And I think those guys that you just mentioned are very tough guys that love playing for Penn State, and I just think overall, whether it's Pittsburgh, Philly, Central Pennsylvania, I just really like to, like I've said from day one, the bulk of our roster, I'd like to come from those areas.
Okay, Brian, at this point, we'll take questions here in the media room. I ask you please